Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The Todd-Cast is filmed before a live feline audience. All right. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
And tonight you can see that things are a little different. I've got things set up just a tad bit different from what it was before to what it is now. And we have got all kinds of happy things happening, and it's been quite a morning or quite an evening. I don't even know where I am now because this is our third take.
They didn't need to know that.
Well, sure they did.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not that proud. Okay. I'm not that proud. This is our third take, and the reason is because I forgot to hit the record button. So anyway, we've had some fun already this evening. Tonight we are joined by my wife, Kris.
Hello.
And she is going to be giving us a different type of perspective on tourism in Colorado because she has a unique, what's the word I'm looking for?
Perspective.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. New perspectives.
Sibling magic.
Yeah. Because the
Err.
Yeti. Anyway.
Never sit between these two during a movie or at a concert.
Well, we have to sit next to each other, and if you split us up, then it's probably safer. But when we're sitting next to each other, it's really bad.
Apparently, the plan was to never let Alyce and I sit together on the plane on the way to Disneyland. So
Yeah. Well, or you sit together and the rest of us are in the back.
No, we're in the back.
Yeah,
All right,
we are in the back.
We're in the back. Everybody else is in the front, and we'll have
That's right.
We'll have a party.
That's right. Anyway,
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Episode 1, I think.
We grew up in airports.
Yes, we did.
Yes, episode 1. Go check that out. I may link it. I don't know. Anyway, before I start making rude noises into the microphone, I did some research about Colorado.
Yay.
I have paper. Colorado has 42 state parks, 9 national monuments, 11 national forests, 2 national grasslands, and 4 national parks. I said 42 state parks, right?
Yes.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Like
Because sometimes they do get mixed up. People get them mixed up a lot.
I get
for
them
sure.
mixed up a lot. I
So.
keep thinking that Golden Gate State Park is
It's like a national park.
a national park, and it's not.
It's
It's not. Mm-mm.
It's one of the better state
State
parks.
parks.
Though.
No, we have to.
And often they can overlap, like one is a donut, the whole of the donut. And so you're driving along and you're in a national forest and then you're in a state park and then you're back into the national forest.
Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
really? But yes.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we have driven through Roosevelt National Forest. I think my last count going to Grand Lake, it was 8 times that we drove in and out
of it.
of the
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're spoiled. I mean, when you look at it that way, we've got a lot of great things to look at and be. So
Oh, very true.
Yes.
staycationing is something we do a lot. So we're a very good perspective.
Yeah, we do.
So with Kris growing up though in the hills, that
Yeah.
gives some different things that Chuck and I don't have to bring to the table necessarily. We visited, but you got to live up there.
I did. Yep. Before my memory, I lived in small mining towns, deep and high in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And once I have living memory, yes, it was a little lower in elevation. So it was up on Lookout Mountain,
Right.
but also
Nice.
in Denver and
Right.
in Golden.
Yeah.
So those are my perspectives.
Yeah. So as you probably saw at the bumper video at the beginning, or the beginning video portion of this. My idea for that is that you were going to fly into Denver and you were coming in by plane.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you see the shot of the tarmac at DIA and you see that shot of A concourse, because you came in on United, so you're on B concourse.
That's right.
Just saying.
Right in the middle.
Yep. So you get off the plane and you're going to be taking the train back to the terminal, and then you're going to take the A line from the terminal out to Union Station, which is in downtown Denver. And then from there, you're going to catch a taxi to go stay at the Brown Palace. Because
you got dollars.
That's right. Yeah. It's my fantasy and I can have it any
There
way
you
I
go.
want to.
That's right. Go for it. Keep going.
Okay. So that's what we're doing. So we got you picked up from the airport. We got you down, you're down at the Brown Palace, and we are going to pick you up and take you around to where we would like to take you when you come visit Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But first,
gotta eat.
we need to eat. You need
Gotta
dinner.
eat.
You
Mm-hmm.
need dinner. Okay. So the first place we're going to take you is to Alyce and my hometown. We're going to Commerce City.
Yes.
And we're going to go to one of the best Mexican restaurants,
Fight us on it.
honestly, in this portion of the country.
It's so good.
Okay.
The best.
So, and it's under some stiff competition.
Well,
Oh yeah.
and we are biased.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, not sorry, but it's so good.
So, Alyce, where
So
are
we are going to El Jardín restaurant in Commerce City, Colorado, and it is hands down our favorite. We ate there last night. Let's just be honest. We probably eat there once a week.
And my blood sugar did better coming after that
See,
than I thought it was going to.
Congratulations. So
yeah.
it's so good. So we're going to take you there. It has been, and I don't even remember when it opened. I just remember it always being there.
It was early 80s.
Yeah. So it's moved around a little bit, but just in the same kind of block. It used to be about 3-ish doors down from the bowling alley.
Right.
In this little hole in the wall in Derby, which is our downtown. And it used to be a walk-in where you'd walk in. You said like the counter was in the back, right?
Yeah, the counter was in the back.
Kitchen was in the back. And then, you'd order and you'd sit, you wait for your food. They'd call your name. You go up and get it. Sometimes there was a waiter.
Well, yeah, sometimes they'd bring it to you. I mean, if it wasn't that busy, they'd just go ahead and it's like, no, go ahead, sit down.
Yeah. And
they'd bring it to you. But it was always on the plastic trays.
Yeah, it was great. We always did takeout though, because they have the best takeout.
Yeah. Well,
so
they have the best regardless. Okay.
It's grown a lot. It's actually moved around the corner, and it's tripled its footprint.
Indeed.
And so it's definitely a sit down, but the takeout is still rocking.
Oh yeah.
Really good. And it has some of the best green chili ever.
Like I said, I think it's some of the best green chili in this portion of the country.
So good. And so ironically, green chili is not a countrywide piece of
some people like to
food.
think it is.
I wish it was.
Oh,
because,
don't I too?
whew,
yeah.
Sometimes traveling is hard, but so green chili is definitely a regional thing. It's you use green chilies and you turn it into either a soup. It can stand
kind
alone.
Of a soup or a stew, yeah.
Or it can be used to smother your other foods,
yes,
like your burritos and your chimichangas and your tamales and
Oh yeah.
all of the yummies.
Oh,
so it can be vegetarian.
Enchiladas
Yeah, it can be vegetarian. I prefer the pork green chilies, and I also prefer my green chili with tomatoes and not tomatillos, which is based on another conversation I had most recently. But anyway, it is the best. It is so good. It is definitely if you're coming to Colorado and have never had green chili, you have to try it. You have to have it because it is a thing out here, and we love our green chili.
Exactly.
Now, if you are spice averse, though, start with the mild.
Yes.
Because it can get a little spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We even at El Jardín joke about, it's Saturday night hot.
Yeah.
Because they up the temperature a little bit on the weekends.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you start out with Friday night warm.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Friday night warm. Then there is Saturday night hot. And then there's Sunday dinner.
Mm.
And Sunday dinner is very great flavor, but not necessarily huge heat.
Not too much heat, but it's got
great.
It's got a bite. It's got a kick, but all of that had been marinating
Marinate, yeah.
since Friday
It's been
night.
hanging out.
And
Yeah. And it's
So good. It's like,
oh,
yeah, it gets better with age.
Yeah.
With a little age. But yes. It
Well,
gets
yeah.
better with age.
exactly.
Yeah.
so good. So we'll take you to Mexican food.
So I'm going to jump in here.
Okay.
I'm not going to fight you on El Jardín. I agree. However, another Todd family classic favorite is right across the street from the Brown Palace.
That's
now.
very true.
It used to be in Northwest Denver, but now it's downtown, and that's La Loma.
Yes.
So if you don't have the means to get out to Commerce City, you can get an excellent Mexican dinner at La Loma. It's gotten a little shishi since it moved
Well,
downtown.
it's across from the Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, across
But
from the
it
Brown Palace
still
now.
has the classic green. Their green chili is also good.
Yes, it is very good.
And you can watch them. I don't know if you can still do this.
Watch.
In the old place, you used to be able to watch them make the tortillas, which when our daughter
Yeah.
was little was so exciting for her to go
And
watch.
the abuela would make the tortillas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
good.
and make tiny ones to give
Give
to
it
the
to
little
little-
kids. And
So
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
but they carry a lot of that tradition with them downtown. So that's another good option.
Well, and that's advantage that if you are staying at the Brown, then you could just walk across the street and
Exactly.
don't have to
Yep.
hoof
And
it into Commerce.
well, you don't even have to walk across the street. You can stay in the Brown Palace, go to the second level or the mezzanine level.
walk the
walk
bridge
the
over.
bridge over.
That's
cool.
true.
You know, walk
So you
the
don't have
bridge
to take
down,
your
take
life
the
in your
elevator
hands.
down. Yeah. And being as I am, well, you can't see it right now. Hang on. Being as I'm amputated, yeah, avoiding that traffic is
It's a good idea.
yeah, it's pretty prime for me. So, all right. So we got you fed. We got you all set.
Very, very well fed, and you'll probably go in a food coma, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why that's why we're going to travel the next day.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
get to the hotel, rest
Right.
up.
Now, where we are going to take you with it, we're going to start out with two things here. It's either we're going to be staying in Denver for the first bit, or we're going to go to the mountains for the first bit. So, my thought on all this, we can have this debate probably all night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether or not we're going to stay in Denver, or we're going to go to the mountains. Because there's plenty to do on the Front Range.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Just to introduce you to the state, there's plenty to do.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about a lot of it in the last episode.
Yeah.
About staying in Denver, so I'm not really sure that we need to touch on that all that much.
Let me look.
I have a few things though. Like if I was gonna plan your vacation for you,
Mm-hmm.
I have
Okay.
a few ideas.
Me too.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, since they
So-
have,
We have
little more
ideas.
for Denver.
they got opinions.
We do. So you guys covered the Museum of Nature and Science last
Mhm.
time, right?
I have that on my list.
Okay. Then Denver Art Museum.
I have that on my list.
All right. The museum itself has been transformed in the last decade or so. It is an amazing structure architecturally and is full of some really surprisingly good art. It's no MoMA, of course,
Mm.
but
Mhm.
it is it's got a good representation of a lot of different eras, a lot of different cultures, good focus on Native American art,
Mhm.
and Western art. And I really enjoy it. It doesn't, and they have some visiting exhibits that are also really worth your time. As Denver has gotten bigger, we've been able to attract some really great exhibitions
Mhm.
there. So that's a place to check out, particularly if there is a visiting exhibition that you'd want to see while you're there. We already talked about the Brown Palace. Another thing very close to the Brown Palace is Holy Ghost Church. Now, I don't care if you go in the church or not, but what's fascinating about it is that it didn't budge. So when all the skyscrapers were being built, I don't know the history behind it. I should have done a little more research. I apologize. But essentially, the church is where it has always been, and it is an early 20th century structure, and they just built the skyscraper around it. And so you've got the church, and the skyscraper is like on 3 of its 4 sides going up from it. And so it's an interesting architectural thing to go visit. to walk by, and it is a couple of blocks away from the Brown Palace.
Cool. I didn't put that one on my list.
It's always fascinated me.
One of the things I did put on my list that's great about Denver is that no matter what you do down there, there's some really cool apps or actually outfitters that can take you on a history walking tour or a guided type of tour. So there's apps that do free walking tours that you can just walk around and get some great, cool Colorado, Denver history in particular. But if you're wanting a guided in-person tour, there's a lot of outfitters that actually do some fun ones. So if you're into like haunted tours, there's some outfitters that do haunted tours. There's one outfitter that does a pub crawl, but it's all based on the different haunted buildings downtown that now house and host pubs. So you can get kind of a pub crawl, history, haunted thing all mixed into one. So there's a lot of great options of just playing downtown and doing some unique things besides, hitting the museums and the Capitol and the Civic Center and the Mint, which I put on there. But just to kind of doing some unique things, just walking the city. It's an easy city to walk. It's not hard. Everything, we went on a north-ish, south-ish plane. We talked about that the last podcast.
Northeast.
South. Yeah. So anyway, thanks, Mr. Brown. So, it's kind of just a neat city that you can do some alternative things. You can pay for it or it can be free. And you can find those, whatever you want online. So
Now, I'm going to ask a question on this, because, non sequitur time. Henry Brown. Is he in any relation to Molly Brown?
No, they are not related at all.
They're not related at all. I just wanted to make that clear. There's a lot of Browns in Denver. And Brown, and I did look up what you were talking about that little bit of that little bit of esoteric history about the socialites in Denver.
Yes, thank you.
The Sacred 36.
Sacred 36. Thank you. I was like, it was a small number. It wasn't like the 400 in New York, but there was a like 30. Everybody take a drink. So there's a set number of families that were the elite socialites. So thank you.
Yeah, the Sacred 36 was very early in Denver social history. And that's it's not going to be on Trivial Pursuit.
No.
Unfortunately, and I'm sorry for that, but since I am one of those that would probably know something stupid like that, now you know too.
But it was important because Molly Brown tried to bust into that.
Yes.
And she couldn't.
Yes.
Because she was new money, yet she was the richest of them all because little Johnny Mine was huge.
Well, that much, the amount of silver that came out.
Yeah.
Did you know Colorado mines more silver than gold?
Yes, I do.
Because why? We're all Colorado kids.
Yeah.
That's why we know. But anyway, that's why it's a silver mine, not a gold mine, if you want to think about it. So.
Right. I mean, a lot of people did make their fortunes in gold.
Yes.
Oh, fair. But
silver's huge.
A lot of people
silver
did.
Was big.
But silver was bigger. Lead was bigger. Copper was bigger. The amount of gold that was taken out of Colorado was significant, but you did not see the level of socialite
Comstock mine.
Yeah. Exactly. We didn't have the Lost Dutchman and all that.
Right.
And,
I didn't put this on my list, but speaking of gold mines, there's a gold mine, the Argo mine, which is right off of I-70 that you can stop and learn about the gold mining history.
You took mine.
Sorry.
I had that too.
You took mine.
I didn't think. Well, it just popped in my brain.
Yeah, Idaho Springs, because we were going to go have lunch and then go look at a gold mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Anyway, a couple of other
great minds think alike.
Right. And a person who is going to be on Trivial Pursuit is Molly Brown.
Yeah.
The unsinkable Molly Brown, one of the survivors of the Titanic.
Who I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned, but you didn't give the history of Molly herself.
Right.
And we didn't talk about her very much in the last episode.
No, and since we're talking about Denver, we should oughta. So go for it.
Yes. Well, that was really all I had to say, other than her house is among the tours that
the
you can do.
You can take.
Yeah. And
It's
among the haunted tours.
It
is
1 block east, 2 blocks south of the Capitol.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
On Cherokee.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're looking for it, when you get to that point from Capitol Hill, it's hard to miss. It's huge.
Well, but here's so if you've ever seen the movie The Unsinkable Molly Brown, they make the house look like this ginormous
Oh, yeah,
mansion.
yeah.
It's really
not that.
not.
It's not that crazy
It's not
big.
that crazy big,
Mm-mm.
but it does have the lions in the front.
Yes.
It does.
So
Yeah.
they got that right, Hollywood.
All right. So
And then
go ahead.
before we leave Denver, a couple of other restaurants that are
Mhm.
touristy that I've been to maybe once just to say I've been there, but I want to mention are one of the things that Colorado's famous for is our wild game. And downtown we have the Buckhorn Exchange,
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
which features wild game.
I've
And they-
never eaten there.
I don't know if I've eaten there.
I
or
haven't
not.
either. I haven't had the chance.
And the other one where I have eaten is the Fort. So that one's kind of on our way out of town into the mountains, depending on which direction we head out of the mountain. There's so many ways to get to the mountains,
Mhm.
and that's one of the ways. You'll
Right.
pass the Fort.
The fort is just as you would expect it to be. It's an adobe fort sitting in the foothills.
It's one of the most expensive restaurants
Yes, and
in
it's
the area.
it is a recreation. It is not the site of an actual fort.
No, it's not.
And their claim to fame was that pioneer food
Mm-hmm.
and what the pioneers would have eaten. And you pay for the experience. I'm not even sure if it's open anymore.
It is.
It is.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
My neighbors went there for their wedding anniversary last year.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Oh, and another caveat and the correction from last time. The Outlaws are back.
Playing in Colorado?
Yes. As of this year,
Yes.
just started.
Okay.
In fact, the last podcast, they had a game.
As you guys were
As I was
recording?
saying that, no, but because they hadn't been around for the
No, they
since-
haven't.
No,
for
they-
summers.
Yeah, they did stop for a while, but the
Okay.
whole franchise has reinitiated
Okay.
and they're back.
Hooray.
Anyway, pointless, divergent, non sequitur. Lacrosse, raw.
So, do we want to talk about Golden, one of my hometowns?
Go for it. Yeah, because
Well-
there's
Before we
something-
head up into the mountains.
Well, we have to,
well,
because-
wait. We got stuff
I
to
know.
talk about before,
Okay.
So we've got Colorado is a year-round tourism destination.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
We have things to do in the summer, fall, winter, and spring.
Mm-hmm.
We are the home of the National Olympic Training Center
That's right.
in Colorado
Mhm.
Springs, Colorado. We are also the home of the X Games. We are the headquarters of the X Games in Aspen, Colorado. We are also home to the National Western Stock Show,
Mhm.
the largest stock show in the Western states.
Mhm.
We are also home to two of the major rodeos before you get to Cheyenne Frontier Days.
Mhm.
We are the home of the Greeley Stampede in Greeley, Colorado.
Mhm.
And we're also, since National Western Stock Show happens, the rodeo that happens during that.
Mhm. It's PBR for
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
Both are PBRs.
Exactly. They're on the PBR, PBR chain.
And their points count towards Vegas.
Yes, they do. Which is the big,
big,
That's the big one.
Okay, what does the P stand for?
Professional
bull
Riding
riding.
Association.
I was like, we're saying PBR, but does the world
Not
know
the
what
beer.
that means? Right.
Simply magic.
Wait,
It's magic.
I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to put that right here.
Although there probably
Doug
is
Henning.
quite a bit of PBR at a PBR.
No,
yeah,
there's Coors.
There's Coors.
Well, here.
Here,
Denver.
there's Coors.
In
Yeah,
Denver.
for sure.
And we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Because I was there.
Yeah, because Golden.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot to do here. There's a lot here to do with that. It apparently involves animals.
Well, okay, so I wanted to mention this the last time too. You know, we have the Brown Palace being the fanciest hotel in town, but we're at our core very of the land, and I call us a cow town all the time, but
We are.
We're a cow town. We're very
are.
much agrarian in our history and our culture and what we've been put here. And National Western Stock Show, the grand champion bull every year stands in honor in the lobby of the Brown Palace.
Right.
The grand champion
That's right.
in the what's the second place one? Anyway,
I don't remember.
First and second place stand in the lobby, and and you have
the fanciest hotel in Denver,
and you have high tea with the bull.
Yeah,
Standing there,
Yeah.
like it's a huge thing, and the tickets are. They're pricey,
Well-
but that's the kind of a personification of
Absolutely.
what Denver's about. We're industrial, we're advanced, but we're a cow town at heart. So.
Well, this is going to come from my notes from my graduate history course that I took about Colorado history. Denver was only partially built by gold and silver. Partially.
Yeah, weird.
That's true.
The other little bits was coal.
Mm-hmm.
It was partially built by coal and steel. But the main financial driving force that built this town was cattle.
Mm-hmm. And we got that in our family.
Yes, we do.
Our great grandparents
Yes, we
were feedlot owners. So
Yes. That's an episode unto itself.
yeah, we'll save that.
And we'll save that for stock show season.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, there are cows in our history.
Moo.
Anyway, moving on.
Can Kris talk about Golden now?
Well, yeah, we were going to start with where you would take people,
take
but
it with Golden.
I think Kris needs to go.
Yeah, go with Golden, because that's actually a big tourist hit.
It
because
really
of-
is.
So, Kris, now that we're going to talk about where we would take people, where would you take people?
I would take people to Golden. Among other places, but let's start with Golden because that's where I grew up. I went to Golden High School and a few elementary and junior high when I went to school, but I went to school in Golden. And a few highlights for Golden are the river that runs through it. Gorgeous. And they have recently completely overhauled the river.
Mhm.
And so beautiful bike path through there. You're allowed to inner tube and raft or kayak through there. To a point, because that river feeds Coors. That is the Rocky Mountain spring water that Coors advertises is from that river. And so Coors is there. You can tour Coors, where it's a fascinating little tour, particularly if you like beer. And you can take the short tour, which is going right to the free tasting room. You, of course, have to be 21 for all of that. But the other thing is that the downtown itself is charming and walkable. They have redone a lot of it recently to turn it a little bit more into a tourist destination, as opposed to when I was growing up there, a real small town where you would go downtown to go shopping for clothes or groceries or whatever. And so there are a couple of good restaurants out there, Briarwood, and oh my goodness, there's a hotel that's just in the midst of on the main street, across where Foss Drug used to be.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well-
Anyway, that has good like Southwestern themed food.
Cool.
What else?
Wait. Foss Drug is no more.
Foss Drug is no more.
That big giant drugstore is gone now.
Gone. It's kind of heartbreaking. Foss Drug was
Sorry.
it was just the center of town. Everybody went there. High school kids worked there. My best friend worked there in high school. It was, in the front was tourist tchotchke weird stuff, and then in the back
Were there
was
carved
like the
bears there.
It was pre-carved bear, but it was all the like little weird statues and shot glasses with all the Coors logos and the golden and like the old miner.
And all the Colorado t-shirts that I never got.
Yeah. And School of Mines is there too. And
You have to be-
very prestigious.
I was saying, you have to be
engineering
really
school.
smart to go to School of Mines.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
And one of the things they do to break in the freshmen at School of Mines is to go paint the rocks on the big M at the top of Lookout Mountain. So there's a big M for mines that has it's white, so you see it during the day, and it has lights on it, so you see it at night. And to get up to that, you go up the Lariat Trail, which is a very switchbacky road. I grew up on Lookout Mountain, or at least through high school, middle school and high school. And as I was learning how to drive, I probably shouldn't confess this, but learned when I was out of gas that I could put it in neutral.
Efficient.
And coast all the way down to Golden. And if I was lucky and the light was green at the bottom of the hill, I could make it to the gas station that was at the bottom of the street before the high school.
Nice job.
Ugh. Going up it is a little bit, it's flatter than going up the other way, which is Highway 40 next to I-70. But it takes a while. And now it is fairly overrun with bikes. I used to ride my bike up and down Lariat Trail all the time. Before I could drive, that's how I got to school. I would ride my bike to school, and if I got lucky, I could go over to my dad's office and wait for him to be done with work, throw my bike in his pickup truck, and he'd haul me home. But more times than not, I had to ride myself back up the hill. You wouldn't know it today, but I used to be able to ride my bike up and down Lookout Mountain every day. And up as you're going, you go under the mountain, the M. The other thing that used to be really popular, and I don't think that it's allowed anymore, hang gliders used to jump off that mountain all the time.
We drive at the mountains and watch them do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
They don't do it.
They don't do
anymore.
it because it was causing too many accidents on 6th Avenue, which is...
But I thought that was off of I-70.
No, it was off 6th Avenue there because they would land in Golden.
We'd watch them off I-70.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd
because they
watch
take
it.
off. They take off the ridge back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the ones I'm familiar with are the ones that jumped and they'd land like in the football field of School of Mines.
Okay.
If they were lucky.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
on
right.
6th Avenue. Right.
Right.
But then you go up and Buffalo Bill's grave is up there.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are 3 Buffalo Bill's graves in the United States. Everyone wanted to claim Buffalo Bill, but I worked up there for 2-3 years, and he is absolutely buried there. How do I know? Because when they finally, the body got stolen back and forth between Cody, Wyoming and Lookout Mountain, Colorado, and I can't remember the third place, Nebraska somewhere.
There's somebody
Yeah.
in Nebraska. Yeah.
When we finally got it back, they put 30 tons of concrete over him and his wife. So there's a mountain there where there wasn't before, where his grave site is. The building that's up there, the older building where I would live actually, was built by Buffalo Bill Cody's son. So historic building all on its own, also haunted, that he built as a stopping place for people that were on their way to seek their fortunes in gold and silver further west. So it's very historic. The view up there is spectacular to look over Golden.
It's Betcher Mountain up there, or Betcher Mansion up there, right?
A little bit further
Yeah.
south, but yes.
It's gorgeous.
So this view is like right over Golden, and they have the little, viewfinder things that you can see, and you can see the table mesas. Well, let's see what else. The museum there, which is a much newer building, is actually pretty decent. They've got some good artifacts from Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley and all of them. And going further, I guess, now all of the 6th Avenue, like Golden is transformed from when I grew up there. There are a lot more houses. The other big thing is now that gambling is legal, going up 6th Avenue, you could go to Blackhawk and Central City, which were gold mines. I actually did, that day on the job when you're in middle school, I think. I spent a day in a mine because Dad's a miner, had some connections. And that was a lot of fun. I love getting dirty for a day. But all of that now is transformed into casinos, and there's still little nuggets of places to go. The Central City cemetery is actually fascinating, because of all the miners and turn of the century folks that up there. I actually did one when everyone else was talking and nobody heard it.
Okay, well, fine. We're up to 8 then.
Okay. It's okay. I've talked a lot. I'll let y'all talk.
And then Central City Opera is still functioning, and it's one of the premier operas, I'd say, in the state for sure, but it's a really popular.
It's a good
opera.
It's a good troupe. It's a very, very good troupe.
They do some really great productions.
Yes, they do. Okay, quick caveat. The river that runs through Golden is Clear Creek.
Yes.
There is a park there called Clear Creek Whitewater Park. That is where a lot of folks you will find that are not tubing necessarily, but they're wakeboarding and they're kayaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is a rough and tumble creek.
It is. And it's cold.
Yeah.
Freezing cold.
Yeah, because it's coming off all that ice that's up there in the hills.
Right. It was snow in the morning.
So here's a pro tip 7,888. Our water's cold because it is snow mountain melt. So and this is a big shock for people who come like from Texas up here to visit. The water down in Texas you can get in and it's great and warm.
Relatively warm, yeah.
Our water is really cold.
34 degrees.
Be prepared to not have it be 70s when you get in.
It will not be.
It will not be. It'll maybe max out at 54 degrees. 50,
and
60,
that's by the time it gets down here.
It is cold. Like when I would do whitewater raft with the camp kids, the water would sit around 52 to 53.
Right.
And so, when it's 90 degrees outside, you're like, yeah, great. But it's cold and you get cold fast. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah. And should you capsize, hypothermia is a real thing. Yeah.
The another little tidbit of history. Denver was located on the confluence of two rivers.
Yeah, South Platte and Cherry Creek,
and Clear Creek. So it's 3.
No, the confluence is of my work is the Cherry Creek and the South Platte.
Okay, because I thought Clear Creek went all the way over
down south of the stadium.
No, it's because it runs along the side of 270.
But the confluence where Denver was founded was Cherry Creek and.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, my mistake. I was assuming that the river that came out of Golden was the one that was in the confluence in downtown. The reason is because Clear Creek runs along Highway I-270 or Interstate 270. And then I think it makes that little bendy bit up north, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's why I got it wrong.
Yeah, a little bit north of where you're thinking of. But.
Close, but yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, okay. So, thank you, Kris.
You're welcome. Flowing to the Mississippi.
Yes.
On our side.
We're going to talk about the divide here in a little bit. I know it. I just know it.
We talked about it the last time, too. So.
All right, Alyce, where are you going to take people?
All right. Are we going to the mountains?
It's up to you.
We've already hit pretty much all of my downtown things.
There's so much front range stuff, though.
I know. But I was trying to think of like fun, because I got to have this conversation most recently, and then I also got to take a friend from Texas who came up, and we did a few things. So our highlights were we definitely hit downtown.
Okay.
And we played downtown. So all of my kind of downtown tips that I've already talked about or things to do, we've already hit. But when we went into the mountains, she had already gone to Estes Park. But I think if you're coming here and you are wanting to hit something very Colorado and picturesque, you have to go to Estes. And I think Estes is one of the premier places to go. It's an easy drive. You got a couple options to get in there, but you're going to all freak out. Driving through Boulder and up through Lyman. What is it?
Lions.
Getting in through there, I think it's a great drive. It's an easy drive. You climb an elevation really slowly, and it doesn't feel like you're climbing an elevation, but the views are great, and it's just a nice drive in. So Estes is really great to get to, easy to get to. Definitely a day trip. You can go in and out. If you're staying in downtown, you can go in and out of it in a day. Pretty easy. Some really fun Stanley hotels there and it's world famous Stanley Hotel. It is
Shining.
known for the movie The Shining. Estes is also known for getting up close and personal with elk.
Oh, yes.
There are resident herds of elk that live in Estes Park. Pro tip 275. Don't touch them.
Why are we going lower in numbers?
Because
Okay.
She listed them all out ahead of time, and now it's just hitting them as
I think of
sees
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't play with the elk.
Don't play with the elk.
Don't do it.
They're
Don't do it.
huge.
And Stanley has a great haunted tour. Kat and I went on it and had a blast.
So there's some of that. I enjoy Estes Park for 2 reasons. One, the rock candy. Because that was our treat when we would come out of Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yep.
And it is one of the entrances to Rocky Mountain National Park. So it's the big town that you'd hit before you get into Rocky Mountain National. And you get some really beautiful falls and really cool campgrounds. Adams Falls. Is that Adams Falls? No.
I don't remember.
Anyway, you got some great falls. You got some great lakes. You got some beautiful hikes up there. You are at elevation at that point, and you're only an hour-ish out of Denver. So that's really, and you have to go north and then west, and it gets you kind of in that good mountain section. And then Rocky Mountain National Park. If you're going to come to Colorado, you got to go to Rocky Mountain National Park.
And it's also home to the Longs Peak Highland Games. Yeah.
Which
the
is fun.
Longs Peak Scottish Festival and Highland Games.
Now, if this is something that you're inclined to do, me personally, it makes me I hate it. But if you'd like to travel on the highest paved road in the country, you'll go over Trail Ridge.
Yeah, Trail Ridge Road. Yes.
I loathe it. Like, I get such anxiety, and I do not like being on a mountain, that road that's narrow and you could fall to your death.
Right.
I don't like it. Kris has driven me on it.
I was going to say,
it is
mountain
the worst.
kid here. So last time we went over it as a family, she just stopped the car at some point and said, "Kris, you get to drive." So I drove her car over Trail Ridge Road.
I hated it.
But the views are amazing.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Great. It's gorgeous up there. You get to see marmot. You get to see
and there's
some
Summit House.
ptarmigan, and there's it's so cool up
Bighorn
there.
sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Summit House gift shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
But getting there is so stressful to me.
Oh, I know.
That I don't like it. Then if you keep going, you can drop down into one of it's like a family place. This is where we'd always go. It's our grandpa's favorite place in the mountains. We go to Grand Lake, and you have to go to Grand Lake. And Grand Lake was actually built and mimicked off of in New York.
Oh, boy.
The Hamptons. The Hamptons in New York.
Yes.
So the Grand Lake Hotel sits right on the lake, and it's a beautiful hotel, but it's mimicked after that. So they tried to bring the Hamptons to the west.
Interesting.
It is beautiful. I love it. And I love Grand Lake. It's
At one
best.
time, it was actually called the Riviera of the Rockies. And that's just to give you an idea about it. I have always thought of Grand Lake sort of like this. Yeah, I'm going to date myself, y'all, and I don't care. John Candy movies. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd.
The Great Outdoors. Yes.
Reminds me of Grand Lake.
Oh, totally.
It reminds me of Grand Lake.
Totally does.
Yeah, right down to the fact of the shotgun lamp and the crazy dog behind the counter that's full of porcupine quills.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good. So I love, it's, like I said, it has a lot of family history for us, but it's a really beautiful town. It's really cool. A few years ago, it was part of the big forest fire that was in there. So it is in recovery. It is in that recovery time now. The forest is coming back. It's bouncing back lovely, but there is still some burn scar there. And some of the places that just got leveled are not building back, which is kind of sad. But, it's
COVID
part
had a
of
lot
it.
to do with that, too.
Yeah, but it's just expensive.
It is.
Everybody loves to go to the mountains, and you think about living there, but they're expensive places to live because it's remote and hard to get things there. So you have to pay for it.
It was fun for me because I loved walking down the main strip. You were talking about the rock candy. The fudge was a thing for me. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fudge and the ice cream.
And
I
the
think
candied
the ice cream.
apples.
Yes.
The caramel apples in Grand
Carameled
Lake.
apples.
I'm not a big
Yes.
caramel apple fan, but you get them caramel apples in Grand Lake.
Yes, you
Mwah.
do. And you take them with you to where you're going to go fish.
Fish. You sit and you fish. We like to go back up to the canal, so it's kind of on the backside, and that's
Right.
where Adams Falls is.
Right. Yeah,
So-
Adams Falls is back up in there.
Yeah.
Now she calls it the canal. It's actually an aqueduct.
That goes in there.
Yeah, it's actually underground.
So it's taking the water. Anyway, it's great. It's a little off the beaten path. It's out of town for a little bit. But Grand Lake is kind of the highlight. So you kind of get some big things. And can you do all of that in one day? Yeah.
We've done it in a
We've
day.
done it in a day. It's a long day.
Yeah, it's a very long day, and you're not going to really do
No.
everything that you could do.
It's a lot of driving
but-
because of,
yeah.
you're getting from one place to the other. But that's
Yeah.
some kind of getting some big three bangers in a day with two quintessential mountain towns. You get the highest paved road in the United States. You get some
Right.
amazing views. You get Rocky Mountain National Park. You get a lot. You get Arapahoe National Park.
Yes.
Is it Arapahoe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's not a national park.
Arapahoe
National Forest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're kind of hitting all of those things, but that's kind of where I would, if I was going to take somebody to Colorado and give them a mountain experience, that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Going that direction, that's north. If I'm going to go kind of southish, I would actually drive you down 285
Mm-hmm.
into
For sure.
South Park.
Yep.
Before we go to South Park,
Uh-oh.
though,
But-
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Morrison.
two things for what you just talked
Mm-hmm.
about. So Rocky Mountain National Park now requires reservations.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so if you want to go through now I don't know if you need reservations to do the drive-through, but how would you prove that you're not staying there?
Yeah, you.
So
Yeah.
be aware of that and learn about that ahead of time. And the other, and you do have to pay to go in it because it is a national park,
That's right.
unless you're a Colorado resident, and then you can pay a set fee on your driver's license and get into all the national parks,
Or a veteran or a senior.
or a veteran
That's
or
right.
a senior.
That's
That's
right.
correct. And the other is the highlight of Grand Lake animal wise is a moose.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I can't even believe
Oh.
I
Moose,
didn't talk about
right?
that.
I
Oh
know.
my
I
God.
was waiting for it.
Oh, that's
Moose
right.
will walk through town, not during the busy season in the summer necessarily, but they are seen there quite a lot.
Oh, yes.
But we've seen them when Chuck and his dad would go go fishing in the Grand Lake, and then you and your mom and I with Katie on my back, we hiked up the trail, and there's some
In the marsh, in the
Marshy
meadow,
areas,
in the wet
yeah.
meadow that's up there.
and
yeah.
we saw a couple of moose up in there
Yeah,
in the
because
highlight of summer.
I remember fishing with Dad, and we were doing a lot of static fishing. So basically, we had salmon eggs on the line, throwing out the line, just let it sit. Sometimes I would go grab my other pole, and I'd start to do some lure fishing.
and eat your snacks.
Yeah, and eat our snacks.
That's what you do.
And then we heard crashing in the bushes in the bramble behind us. And Dad turns around and says, Chuck, turn around. I was like, what? Look behind me. I was like, and there it was.
Big old
It was-
moose.
yeah, big old bull coming crashing through, just sort of looking around, and then sort of, well, okay, when I say crashing, it was not this charging run. It was just sort of galumphing.
Lumbering through.
Like-
Be like, hey,
Yeah, like moose do. You know?
hey.
And we were hiking. It was you and your parents, Kat and I. I don't know if you were with us.
No,
I
he
think
wasn't
you were
with us.
working.
He was
Yeah.
because at our church camp.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And we'd gone up there and we went hiking up from the back of the church camp. We used the church camp as our parking lot and then went hiking.
Yeah.
And Kat had a project for lichen or moss or something. And so she and I are like looking down and trying to find examples of moss and lichen. And Alyce and her dad were ahead of us, Mom bringing up the rear. And all of a sudden, we like literally crash into Alyce, who'd come to a dead stop. And we're like, what? And we look around and yeah, but I had
pointed
to,
it.
she had to point, and it was a mama moose and her teenager.
Yeah.
And it shocked me. Well, one, never look down, obviously, when you're walking in moose territory, because we got a little bit closer, too close for comfort. The moose didn't react or anything, but we got closer than expected to
Right.
mom and child. But the other was these ginormous animals.
They're
Like
huge.
you're like, how on earth do you blend into anything?
Exactly.
But you could barely
Yeah.
see them.
Camouflage is great. And they're great swimmers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really good swimmers.
Yeah. And so
I can't believe I didn't even talk about the moose.
what an experience to see these moose up close and just see how well they can, like their spindly little legs just blend right into the lodgepole pines that are up at that elevation. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So that was our fun time of almost
Almost
getting
dying
trampled
from
by a
moose.
moose.
Yep. So yeah, Grand Lake, the Grand Lake area, and the Rocky Mountain National Park area.
Yes.
It's a have to.
It's a
It
have
is.
to.
It's really
It
have
is.
to. And if you only have one place to go to kind of get that mountain experience,
That's
it.
If that's all you have to do,
Mhm.
I would definitely recommend that because that puts you in deep.
Mhm.
It really does.
It puts you in deep.
It's
And
gorgeous. Yeah.
Honestly, it puts you right to the Continental Divide as well.
Yeah.
Because you
Grand
cross.
Lake is on the divide.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you cross the divide to get to the lake.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so all the water that's running into Grand Lake eventually goes to the Pacific.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So now back
All
to
right.
285.
So 285. This is another alternative highway that will get you into some really great mountains. But it will take you to the infamous South Park, Colorado. Yes, South
Which isn't
Park.
really a town.
It's
Fair Play
Fair
is
Play
the
is the town, but the region is South Park. It
Oh,
is
no.
south of.
Now there's a South Park.
Okay.
A true
Well,
South Park.
the region south is south of the park, or south of National Park.
Well,
Right.
there's South Park, Middle Park,
and North Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair Play is the town, but it is real. So
And it is exactly South
It,
Park.
it
yeah.
is. Yes. The cartoon is spot on with what that area
Well,
is.
because-
It's satirized, of course, but it is
because the creators
grew up there.
were natives.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, and just because the creators also did a musical.
Yes.
Yes, Alfred Packard the musical.
So things on the way up to South Park, though.
Yeah.
Tiny Town.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's not on the way. That's well
it's
away
on
from.
285.
Yeah.
It's on 285 before you
Yeah.
get to South
South-
Park.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah.
hit Tiny Town again if you're a Colorado kid. You went to Tiny Town, and
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. It's a
It's what
tiny,
it says it is.
It's a tiny town, and you ride a train, and you go through the town, and you get to see the little houses, and it's kid size, and it's friendly, and it's awesome, and it's a beautiful thing, and
Right.
it will never go away because
People
know,
keep trying to, they keep it
yeah,
preserved. A
it's
lot of
so
it was
good.
damaged in a flood, and they've
Yeah.
built it back up. And
so
Yeah.
yeah.
it's a very much a Colorado kid rite of passage
Mm-hmm.
is to
Yeah,
go to Tiny
exactly.
Town.
Exactly. And Kat did her rite of passage.
Mm-hmm.
We all rode the train.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that may be worth a video.
Going
yes.
to Tiny Town, yeah.
I think Tiny
I
Town might be
agree.
worth
It's
a
fun.
video.
It is one of those things
Now,
that you
not
don't
a-
know what it means until
Not a
you've seen it.
podcast video, but
a little real.
a vacation video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
definitely.
And then kind of along in there's some beautiful pull off the road trails and hikes up
Definitely.
there. You can do some great picnicking and just getting
Mm-hmm.
out of your car and walking along the little
Mhm.
creeks and things that are up there along 285. 285 will take you down through Salida and into Buena Vista. And then if you keep going all the way down, you can get to the sand dunes, which is another national monument.
That's National Park.
National Park. Okay.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal, that area.
Yeah.
So what happens is that all of the sand that's carried in the wind hits the backside of that mountain and falls out.
Yep.
And it has created these huge dunes. Now, at some points, they don't let you on the dunes because the sand is not stable. So
Right.
you're only able to go to certain parts of it. Lucky me, in my connections in world was actually able to go on the dunes at night with the National Park Service people. And we did some stargazing, and you're not actually allowed to do that without escorts or special dispensation. And because were with the people that could do it. It was
Oh, what an experience.
phenomenally
Wow.
cool. It was
I
really
bet.
good. I took mom
I
and
bet.
dad with me because it was a thank you thing for a partnership that we had. And so I was able to do that. That was really, really, really cool. But the sand dunes are, she's like, oh, it's just big piles of sand. Yeah, but I mean, it's so cool. It is really neat how it forms and how it's created. And
Exactly.
there's a neat campground there, so you can camp there. It's a little bit farther out of town, but it's definitely on that 285 drive. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's another, there's things to do along that drive that are really cool. It takes you by Red Rocks and Morrison.
That's right.
And so if
Yep.
I was going to take people to mountain things, if they've already done Estes, I'd go do the 285 thing.
Yeah.
So.
The other things there, so there are a lot of dude ranches up in there. So if you want to have a vacation of horseback riding and trail riding and all of that kind of stuff, that's where you go.
That's a good one.
And up by Bailey, which is a little town on your way up there, is the Coney Island Dog restaurant stand. It's a stand in the shape of a hot dog. I should have brought out the t-shirt. Kat, we got a kid-sized t-shirt with a picture of it on it. And what was the other thing? Oh, yes. Kenosha Pass is what you go up to get into South Park.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that is my favorite drive because the reveal is so sudden and amazing.
Yeah.
So you're in the forest, going up the hill, and then you just go around this little corner and bam, South Park opens up, and it is huge, right? It is square miles and just amazing. And that view is just jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't drive it in the wintertime because it scares the bejesus out of me. But it is beautiful both in summer and winter.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you go over on you can keep going over in the pass and drop into Vale.
No.
Or Keystone. You drop into Keystone.
Yeah. Now that's a little heart-stopping because Red Mountain Pass is not to be dealt with. Yeah, you don't go that way to Keystone.
But it's, I mean, if you're...
It is, yeah.
Beautiful drives. It gets you into one of the cool ski areas. So
for sure.
So those are my mountain choices.
Okay.
So...
Your turn.
All right. Well, you guys hit a lot of what I was thinking about doing, but I think I'm going to stick to I-70.
Okay.
I'm going to pick up my people from the Brown Palace, and we're going to go driving down I-70, and we're going to go through the Ridgeback, or to the rocks that will end up forming Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's a cutout portion that shows the strata
incredible
of geology that make up the ridgeback or the hogback is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
At the top of those are dinosaur footprints.
Absolutely.
We had dinosaurs roaming around Colorado, and we have evidence and proof of that. Colorado at that time, of course, was a very, very different place. It was much more humid, much more hot, much more wet.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is very dry, very, very dry.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, she says that, and unfortunately, yeah.
Well, I lived in Corpus, so.
Well, I know you lived in humid places.
Yeah.
I know it. I know she lived on the Gulf. I was kind of jealous of that for a while until I went down to visit.
Until you visited
in
me.
the summer. In the summer.
Until you visited me. It's not really any different in the fall.
And July sucks.
It's very humid.
July sucks there. Anyway, not to take anything from Texas. We can do that later. So I take them through the hogback. We may go down to Morrison.
It's worth going to Red Rocks, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, just to see the amphitheater.
And the town of Morrison's cute. It's got some
really
really beautiful along the creek there. Yummy Mexican food restaurant.
Well, and
good
then
pizza.
you keep on going through there. You got Evergreen, you got Conifer. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you talked about Bailey and everything, and I don't think the hot dog stands there anymore.
Oh,
It is. It's just further. It's not where it used to be.
No.
It's further south.
Okay, fine. Anyway, keep on I-70, and we're going to keep on driving to I-70, and we're going to go have lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go have lunch, and we're going to stop in Idaho Springs to go have lunch.
Yes,
We mentioned this last time in our last video about having lunch in Idaho Springs. at the original Bojo's Mountain Pies.
Snaps
The best
to that.
one.
Snaps
Yep.
to
Okay.
that.
Now, Bojo's became very, very popular with the ski crowd.
Oh yeah, that was
Okay.
classic. We would ski and come home and stop at Bojo's
Mm-hmm.
and wait
I
out
think
the traffic.
a lot of people still do.
Oh, yeah, they do.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
But that was even before it was a thing. That's what we
Yeah.
used to do.
But yeah, that's where I'd take you guys to lunch. Is we'll go have a mountain pie over at Bojo's.
You
Yum.
can get some yummy ice cream next door.
Yes, you can.
So
Yes, you can. Again, Idaho Springs does have a famous history, not just a gold, but in a comic strip. And I can't remember the name of the comic strip.
Oh, you don't remember
because
that?
the creator of the comic strip
Lived in Idaho Springs.
grew up in Idaho Springs.
I'll have to Google that and put it down later.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the comic strip, and I can't remember the name of the author
Very
or
cool.
the artist.
I
Anyway.
stole your thunder with the Argo. Sorry, that's right
Yeah,
next door.
and that's exactly what we were going to do after lunch. Is
Cool.
we're going to go visit an actual gold mine
So worth it. It's so
from the
cool.
turn of the century.
Yeah.
And what I mean by turn of the century is from the 1800s to the 1900s.
Yes.
And it was still operational in the mid 20th century.
Mhm.
And then it flooded.
Hmm.
The mine flooded,
Mhm.
and that was that. But they were still pulling gold out of that hole or series of holes.
The tunnel connects over to Central City.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
bores through the mountain.
Yeah.
It
To
bores.
kinda put
In fact,
things in perspective.
that mountain above Idaho Springs, honestly, is nothing but Swiss cheese.
It's true.
It's
on
nothing
the
but
north
Swiss
side
cheese.
of north side of Idaho Springs, or even like Echo
Yeah.
Lake area.
No, on that north side. Well, even
Okay.
on the lake area, even,
Okay.
you know, and even over by the water wheel on the south
Oh,
side of the highway there, there are mines all over
Over
that
there.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
you'll see the
over.
tailings as you drive up.
Oh, yeah. And some of it makes it very, very pretty. But a word of advice, I know you want to go look.
No.
I know you want to go explore.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do
Tip
it.
Do not
number
do it.
77.
That's right. Safety third. Don't do it.
That's
Okay.
No.
Do the tour where you get to go in the mine in a supervised capacity
Right.
and only so
And
far
The great
in.
outdoors again.
Because the teenagers go down there and anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and there's a bald-headed bear.
Bear. Bald-headed bear chase.
Big bear. Big bear.
Chase.
Chase.
Anyway,
Okay, I may
Move
edit. No, I'm not editing that. I'm not editing that. No.
it was such a good movie. You hate it, but we love it. It's
Oh,
such a good
it's
movie.
great.
They had to tie me to a chair and force me to
And
watch
Summer Rental.
Summer rental
Was the other
Oh,
one.
yes.
So good. Anyway, keep going. Up
Okay.
I-70. Go.
Yeah, go up I-70. And after we get done with the mine tour, which honestly is a good, fun tour, it teaches you a lot about the technology and the processing of gold,
Mhm.
especially at the turn of the century.
Yeah,
and
it's the mine and the mill.
yeah, and not much has changed.
Mm-mm.
Not much of the process has changed.
Mm-mm.
The equipment and the technology have, but the process has not.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's cool.
So anyway, we're done with the mine tour. We're going to go tumble back into the car, and we got a lot of daylight left.
Okay.
So we're going to go to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to
Good
continue.
choice.
We're going to continue on west and head to Georgetown.
That
Now,
lake is cool too.
The lake, there's a couple of
Mhm.
lakes actually.
Yeah.
It's a series of lakes.
Yeah.
But the main lake and then Georgetown,
The town is awesome.
And if I remember correctly, the Georgetown Silverthorn Loop,
Uh-huh.
That is worth
is
doing.
yeah,
we need to do that for an
it's
episode.
a train. It's a train ride.
Yes.
And is it still a coal burner?
No.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think it was, and especially not with all the wildfires.
Exactly.
We have now.
They've had to get rid of the coal engines.
That's a good episode. We need to do that as
Yeah,
a
the
staycation.
Georgetown Silverthorn
Mhm.
Loop, and that one I think, and that's honestly where I think I'm going to end my portion. And the reason is because there's still so much more, and we're already 4 minutes after.
I
an
know.
hour.
Well, you've
So-
only gotten us like 45 minutes out of Denver on I-70.
I
yeah.
know.
Well, no,
Like,
we got an hour.
Well,
Georgetown's
it's like,
about an hour.
we haven't even really ventured. I think all of us just went about an hour outside of Denver.
Yeah, we've done the
Mhm.
hour radius.
So
Yeah.
we got more to do.
And the other option too out of Idaho Springs is If you want to drive up to the top of a 14er,
Mm-hmm.
that's where
No.
you go
No, thank
to
you.
Mount Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. I'm like,
Which now,
I
okay,
don't know the new name.
there's a caveat there. Trail Ridge Road is the longest continuously paved highest road.
Yeah.
Correct.
The highest highway in the nation is Mount Blue Sky View.
Yeah. Well, that's why I had the caveat of paved.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
part of that is not paved.
Yeah, but we have two of the highest roads in the nation. So,
And the 114er that I climbed when I was a scout was Mount Bierstadt, which is the sister peak of Mount Blue Sky. And it was so depressing to like kill myself to get the top of a 14er because the top of Mount Bierstadt is all scree and it's the last like
Yes,
500 feet is just
Timberline is nothing.
painful. And you get up to the top and you look over and on the neighboring peak there are cars. And I'm like, I could have driven.
yeah.
Why
You
did I
could've.
walk? Like, this is crazy. Other than to say I did it. But
Right.
yes.
Well, and see, again, the Coloradoans' rite of passage is to go up 14er.
Mhm.
And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to walk up a 14er. It's better if you do. But,
I would rather walk it.
well, okay.
I don't drive that nonsense. That's scary.
It's
Oh.
kind of scary to walk
Oh,
it too.
I have
Yeah.
more
Although the Picas are
I
cute.
can sit down and scooch.
Yeah, but
Mm.
yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about that, especially with my leg now walking on that scree.
Nope. I could barely walk it with four, like
Yeah,
on
because-
all fours.
Because all that starts tumbling
Tumbling
down.
down. Yeah, you have to be careful.
Now, you do have to be on the lookout in the scree, because I did mention this earlier, is that Colorado's a home to a lot of gemstones.
That's true.
Mhm.
You could find an
You could
aquamarine
find
up
something.
there.
Mhm.
Sure thing.
You could find an aquamarine,
And you-
which is the state stone.
Mhm. So,
So that's what I would do. Is I would get,
all right.
at least we get out to Georgetown.
Okay.
You know. Other than that, we've got
Georgetown also has good fudge.
And ice cream.
okay.
And
there's a-
ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there's this thing. Rock candy, fudge, and ice cream are what you're going to find in these mountain towns.
And saltwater taffy
yes.
Huh?
Yes.
with the
With
guy
no
that
salt
does
water.
the. I know,
Yeah.
right? We have no salt water yet. Everyone wants taffy.
Candy makers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, all of these old mining
see,
towns have
that's
turned
what
into
breaks
these-
my heart about Blackhawk and Central City, because
Oh,
it
I
used to be
know.
that cool until they put all the casinos in.
I know.
And they're ruining the history up there.
They are ruining the history.
At least they've cordoned off the face on the barroom floor.
Yeah,
They did
she's
do
still
that.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's still there. That's in Central City in a particular bar. We will have more on that on the next episode. But for tonight, you know,
We've had 3 tour guides do pretty random things, but pretty similar in the same vein. Like we've
Yeah.
had a lot of the same things on our list. So, you
yeah,
know,
and
food for thought.
There's
It
so
is-
much to do here.
there is, and we have scraped the surface.
We haven't even gotten to Vail
I
yet.
know.
We haven't even gotten to the middle of the mountains yet.
No, we
I haven't
haven't.
even talked about skiing yet.
Well, exactly. I mean, we've got
That
an
could
entire.
be a whole hour all on its own.
Well, and see, that's what I wanted to do is break this up so we could do like, you know, what we do in the summer, what we do in the fall, because we got the changing of the aspens.
I know.
So-
and if you're a hunter, that's a
Episode
big deal
3,
too. Yeah.
Seasonal things.
Like I said, year round. All right, folks, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Please do, because I need all the help I can get right now. But still, thank you very much for joining us, and we will catch you, hopefully, in 2 weeks.